So, the real plot has leaked, you say. Well, let's check this out, shall we? That rhymed going to play the game. Burrs! Album dropping next week.
So now that we know what the Avengers Doomsday trailer is about, since it was shown at Cinemacon, not released because we still don't have it publicly yet, but since it was shown to an audience at Cinemacon, we know what is going to happen in the trailer. And since that happened at Cinemacon, some plot leaks have been circulating around, and most of one is considered to be pretty accurate, according to multiple insiders. We're going to go over some others as well throughout next week, but this one, in particularly, Daniel RPK says is real. Now, that doesn't mean that all of it's real, but probably most of this is going to happen. So we're going to compare this plot leak to what we have recently learned about Avengers Doomsday due to the trailer being shown, and of course some other reports that we've gotten recently as well, and put it all into context. Now, in case this does end up being maybe all real, spoiler warning. If you don't want to know, you should click away now. But if you're here for the spoilers, let's dive into it. Some of this you might have heard before. So, Avengers Doomsday opens in NYC on Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man's Earth. He's fighting Deadpool and Wolverine, who were sent there with a planet-killing bomb built by Beast to destroy Tobey's world in order to save their own universe from an incursion.
Okay, we've heard that already. Something like that already. So,
Tobey battles Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, who manages to plant the device. Wolverine stays behind when it detonates, and both he and Tobey Spider-Man, along with everyone on Earth, are killed. Deadpool escapes and returns to his...
And we heard that before, too.
...own Earth, which we see in the distance. Now, right away, I'm just going to go ahead and say, I've said this before, I think this is a misdirect. I don't think they die. I think the TVA saves them, Loki saves them, something like that. I don't think they die. I don't think they bring...
Yeah, and that would be, to me, a ridiculous way of taking them out. Ridiculous. Logan, of course, had a good send-off in Logan. However, I wouldn't have killed Logan. I've talked about how I would have finished the movie, and what I would have done is somewhere in the movie, you're asking where's Magneto, and he's presumed dead. But at the end, after he has his last breath, you see Magneto descending from the heavens, cape flapping, magnetic aura illuminating. Then he pulls the metal out of his body, throws it to the side in a huge lump. And then all of a sudden you see him totally rejuvenate his young self. And he's got his daughter happily ever after. And people loved that. I actually went into more detail with it, I think, in the video that I was talking about it, but I can't remember what video. I've thousands of videos. I don't remember what video I was talking about. But anyway, but if you are going to take him out, he kind of had a good send-off with Logan. I'm not a fan of bittersweet endings. I'm a fan of happy endings, personally. So, for them to be taken out in such a short, quick amount of time, these two icons, one of Spider-Man, iconery, if that's even a real word, and one of Wolverinery, iconery, no. So I hope he's correct with this and that the TVA saved him.
Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man back just to kill him off that quickly, and Hugh Jackman's Wolverine as well. I don't think they do that. We'll wait and see. Unless they're variants, unless Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man is a variant, then they don't kill them. And they're not killing Hugh Jackman's Wolverine. But then it says Charles Xavier watches the destroyed world below with sadness, but they had no choice. This is very interesting. Because in the trailer that they showed for Avengers Doomsday at Cinemacon, we have heard that there's a scene where Professor Xavier is talking about there's something coming that they cannot deter, and he watches something kind of go up in flames in the background.
Yeah,
now,
there's some flames
people
in the
who were
background.
there say that this is him watching an incursion happen. So that would line up with what we have just seen. And it also states in
Could
this
be.
plot leak and other reports as well that the X-Men have been through many different incursions. And the trailer that they showed really seems to point to that. They've dealt with incursions before the Avengers show up, and it seems like they've dealt with quite a few already because they have a system that's in place to destroy the other Earth, therefore saving their Earth.
Mm-hmm.
So, Charles Xavier watches the destroyed world below with sadness, of course, but they had no choice.
I do believe they're going to take out Cyclops, though. He'll never get his just due. This dude don't never get his just due. I hope, I'm talking about like the character and the guy playing him. Like, I just feel like it's a raw deal with how badass Cyclops really is. Hopefully, in this movie, if they do take him out, which I assume they are, he will have such a epic send-off that if he dies, it's like, okay, they did right by this man.
Of course, it's pretty much them or us is pretty much the thinking behind that, and it can't be both. You can't just let both universes be destroyed. So when it comes down to it, they're choosing themselves, which, can you really blame them? Hard choice, but can you really blame them? Then we get some new things that I think is going to also be included in the Avengers Endgame re-release, but we'll wait and see on that. It says, we then cut to Tony's funeral.
Now, I'll go to the re-release if they put in extra footage. If they don't, I'm not sure I want to go. You know what I'm saying?
Steve speaks with some of the heroes, including Ant-Man, before returning the stones. Now, we've heard that they are going to add some scenes in Avengers Endgame. Some say it might just be a post-credit scene, but the Russos did say Doomsday picks up basically right where Avengers Endgame left off.
Man.
So it would make sense that they show a little bit, but also I would expect to see some of this in the Endgame re-release to maybe have some other scenes in Avengers Doomsday maybe cut down on time for Doomsday. But regardless, it is going to connect to Steve going back in time and Tony Stark's funeral. Steve speaks with some of the heroes, including Ant-Man. Now, we have just recently heard from the trailer that they've shown Ant-Man is with the rest of the Avengers when they all meet the Fantastic Four. So Ant-Man's going to be back, and he's going to be a big part of this. And I'm curious to know if he's going to share anything that happened in Quantumania with the rest of the group. Is he going to share this guy who apparently has destroyed universes? Or is he going to think that this guy is Dr. Doom, but he knows his name is Kang? Really curious to see how they're going to handle that. And I really do think they need to just say that Doom took care of Kang. And that would make Ant-Man even more terrified.
Yeah. It would be funny if they kind of dismissed it. We had our own problem. Too long of a story to talk about. But, so, they can, I wonder if they're going to gloss over it like that.
Because he knows how terrifying Kang is. Again, I have to wait and see on that. But then it says that Steve goes back after talking to some of the heroes and chooses to stay with Peggy. They have a son, Jim, which we've heard.
Mm-hmm.
One day, Loki visits them. This is before the Loki Season 2 finale. This part's really interesting. He tells Steve about the TVA and warns him that they will soon prune this timeline because Steve was never meant to live there or have a son. Loki offers them a way out. He can take them to a universe where they don't exist and can live in peace, the Fantastic Four's universe. Before leaving, Loki gives Steve a special card to contact him. Steve and his family live there in the Fantastic Four's universe for 10 years.
Okay.
We then see Dr. Doom visiting Sue and Franklin. They clearly know each other. Doom says he has come to speak with Reed. He warns him about the incursions and reveals their universe is next. He proposes a plan, but they must travel with him to Earth 616. Doom also asks Reed whether it's possible for someone else to be living in their universe that's not from their universe. They scan the planet and discover an anomaly, Steve and his family. Now, this part I've always found very interesting, because how would Dr. Doom know to go to the 616 universe? How would he know to kind of search for somebody that might not supposed to be in his universe? Really interesting. Now, we've heard that Dr. Doom is building a device that is supposed to be able to stop incursions. It goes wrong, it blows up, it scars him, kills his family. And the reason he was building that device is because he has seen that an incursion is basically coming for his planet, his Earth. And he'll eventually go on to blame Steve Rogers for that. Since Steve was in that universe and not supposed to be there, it brought on an incursion. That's important for later. But how does Doom know to go to 616? Well, this is where I think the report about the Library of Worlds comes into play. We heard a report that Doom is going to find the Library of Worlds, which is a place that exists outside of space and time. And from there, he can basically look into any universe and look into their past as well. So perhaps he was there and looking into a bunch of different universes and looking into their past, and that's how he knows to specifically go to that universe. And I think he probably is searching for the Scarlet Witch. If he's seeking her powers, I think he's searching for her. But again, that's another. We'll have to wait and see. So they confront Steve, who recognizes them because obviously they're Fantastic Four famous and he's been living there for a decade. They explain the incursions and they ask Steve to actually go with them to the universe where he's from and help. And he has to help convince the Avengers to trust Doom's plan. They travel there and Steve successfully persuades the heroes to listen. Next, they visit the X-Men universe, but the X-Men are hostile. Now, this past part, this is proven true by the trailer, right? The Fantastic Four meet Doctor Doom, they meet with the new Avengers, and Steve is there, and that's the part where he even says, "Hey, pal," to Thor. And Thor is there as well.
Looking real thin there.
That Steve and Thor are actually going to be the two main characters of this movie, with the exception of Doctor Doom, because of course this movie really is about Doctor Doom.
Is that Steve? It's Steve,
right? So
they
go to the X-Men universe, but the X-Men are hostile. They've survived multiple incursions, and they don't trust anyone. They assume the MCU heroes and the Fantastic Four have come to destroy them and attack. Reed and Doom explains their solution to build massive cannons on each Earth that will permanently separate the universes and stop the incursions. They will split into teams, and each one will go to another Earth to place a cannon there. Now, just want to say, recently Alex Perez came out and he stated that Monica Rambeau, who is stuck in the Fox X-Men universe, is the key to peace between the two different teams. So, like I mentioned before, since they've been through so many incursions, they obviously expect, hey, if people from another universe show up, they're here to destroy our universe and kill us so theirs can live. So they fight right away, but Monica's there. She's going to recognize her friends, recognize the heroes of Earth 616, and she's going to say, hey, wait, I don't think they're here to kill it. I know these people. And then they have a conversation and they explain, hey, I know you've been dealing with incursions, but guess what? The whole multiverse is going to collapse if we don't come together to stop it, right? We can save our three worlds, but we have to work together. And apparently they are convinced to do so. And then it states, meanwhile, Steve tells Thor he met a Loki who is still alive. Thor asks Steve to take him to him. Using Loki's card, they locate the TVA, but when they arrive, everyone is dead, and Loki has had his heart ripped out. They realize Doom is responsible. I would not be surprised if this is an illusion by Loki.
That's gruesome.
The ending kind of makes it a little okay, but I still wouldn't be surprised if this was an illusion, because I think Loki sees Doom coming. And maybe in preparation for Doom, he's gathering his own special team behind the scenes, and that's how he saves Toby and Wolverine and others, Tom Holland, Andrew Garfield, Spider-Man. We'll have to wait and see, but I really would.
I think it would be dumb for them to kill him now after he's made this transcendence, you know what I mean? And he's good now. He's doing. You know, I think it would be dumb to kill him now.
Be surprised if this is just a trick
again.
But Steve goes back to confront Doom, who reveals his true plan to allow the incursions to happen, so he can rebuild the multiverse in his own image and resurrect his dead family. He takes Steve to his castle in Latveria on his Earth, and there Steve meets Doom's followers, masked witches. One of them impersonates Peggy to manipulate him. We've also heard, and it's not really mentioned in this leak, but we've also heard that the Scarlet Witch is a masked follower of Doom as well, and...
Oh, that'd be crazy.
Strange. Doom reveals that Steve's presence in their universe is what triggered their incursion, because he didn't belong there, but also led to the death of Doom's family because of what I mentioned before, the experiment that he tried, which failed and killed his family, and now forces him to wear a mask. As revenge, Doom kills Steve's son in front of him. Now this, I believe, is what everybody's...
This is what a bunch of people are talking about. The darkness to it, the violence. Like, I can't believe they did that. People will be crying and screaming and walking out of the theater in silence. So, this is probably it. Look, I told y'all before, I've said this in a few different videos, and I asked you guys, have you noticed this in the past few years? That there's been more and more violence toward children in movies and television shows. You're seeing them hurt and oft in ways you never saw that stuff happen growing up. Nobody saw that stuff like that. And now it's happening. I find that very interesting, by the way.
Been talking about recently when they state that this movie is going to be incredibly dark. I know there are some people out there who know what happened with the test.
I don't like that. And if they did do it, it'd be better if they did it like in the Flash movie where Supergirl's like, "What did you do?" He was like, "The infant did not survive." Like, that is way different than us witnessing something like that happen. So that could cause massive backlash for Disney and Marvel if they do that, depending on how they do it. They better watch that. They better watch that scene.
Screening that Marvel Studios recently had for the film. And basically after that test screening came out, the following days, people have been speaking out and been saying this movie is going to be dark. This is that specific...
Yeah, because people could be walking out the theater like, you know what? The movie was good, but yo, man, they're killing effing babies in Marvel now. Like, what the hell? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it could cause an immense backlash depending on how it's done, how it's carried out, if that is truly done. You know what I'm saying?
Scene, I believe that everybody's talking about, which makes this movie so dark. Now, ultimately, it might be okay, and you'll see what I mean in just a second, but, I mean...
I was going to say, they better fake it. I merely sent him to another dimension, or I merely, made him invisible from your sight, or whatever. I don't,
It's dark, and it's going to be hard for Steve.
Hard for the fans, too.
Coming, and Latveria prepares for war. The Fantastic Four, the Avengers, and the X-Men unite and march on Latveria. Thor prays to Odin, who sends an army from Valhalla to join the battle.
Oh.
A massive war erupts as the Earths begin to collide. Eventually, the universes crash into each other and are destroyed, killing everyone except for Doom. And it's revealed that he stole Loki's powers. Using them, he creates Battleworld, resurrects everyone, and erases their memories. They believe Battleworld is all that has ever existed.
And that's where
we
it
see
ends
them
with
living
him
lives in this false reality.
Throne.
Doom sits on his throne as the Emperor of Battleworld. Now, I know some insiders are saying that this is accurate, but I don't think the ending there actually is going to be pretty accurate. I think
that's a dark ending.
To a full extent.
That's another Infinity War ending. That's another Empire Strikes Back ending. So you never know. That might be accurate.
The Scarlet Witch is going to be involved. I think Sentry is going to be involved. I don't think it's just him taking Loki's powers to create a new Earth. I think it's him taking a lot of people's powers over time. Throughout the course of Avengers Doomsday, he's going to take multiple people's powers and ultimately become God Emperor Doom to be able to create Battleworld. I don't think he gets that just from Loki.
Yeah,
there's a lot that seems to be left out here, but as far as a lot of what is in here, it's...
Chris Evans is looking skinny. He all right? I hope it's just the clothes.
Seems like most of this is gonna be pretty true for...
He might have been like, look, I ain't working out for this. Listen, I'm tired. I know y'all want me back. Give me a suit that makes it look like I got the muscles like I did last time. But that was too... You know what I mean? Please, just come on now.
Avengers Doomsday. Now, for a movie that right now is rumored to be 3 hours and 45 minutes long, this isn't actually that much, but this is a decent idea of what we're going to see happen in Avengers Doomsday. Again, some of it, I think, might go a little bit differently, and they have done reshoots lately, but we'll have to wait and see. There's supposed to be a big twist in the film. Nobody's really mentioned the big twist. Maybe it's he thinks he killed Loki, but he's actually alive. It was illusion. Who knows? We'll wait and see, but in the meantime, let me know what you think about this in the comments down below. If this happens in Doomsday, will you like it? Will this satisfy you? Let me know. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe so you don't miss out.
It's all in how it's done. Thank you very much for that information, Wonder. Good job there, sir. Go over there and follow the Cosmic Wonder. Tell him Tyrone Magnus sent you. This is wild, if this is it. Woo! 10 million subscribers. Woo!